So the second problem was the stick, right? Now, this is a complex problem, and it's probably a very expensive product to make, the one that we're looking at. So we're looking at projectors on it, we're looking at lenses on it, we're looking at it to pick up sound. It's going to also possibly contain some tea. This is a crazy product, but why not? Here, we're looking at the design process, so this is a possibility. Okay, so if we're looking at the stick, we want it to project, we want sound on it, and we want it to contain tea. Okay, so how do you get tea into a stick? Well, this is not a new concept. It's not that long ago that it was probably more granddads that were putting whiskey into their sticks. And let me tell you a story. My old mechanical drawing teacher, he had a sword in his stick. Now this guy was a brilliant teacher, but he used the sword to good effect. So what we used to do was when we did our design process drawings, if he didn't like them, he would say, hold them up, and we'd hold them up, and he'd cut them down the middle with the sword. That's a good use of a stick. But for Mavis's point of view, we don't want her to have a sword. We want her to have communication with her kids. She doesn't like using the computer, so she may as well use the stick. She's always got it. She's always got it with her. But what if she could use it whenever she wanted? So perhaps it's something that has a projector at one end, and perhaps a camera at the other end. But in the middle, we want it to also contain a tea or a flask of some sort, right? So if you were to put a flask inside a stick, that's a pretty thin tube. How do you figure out the volume of that there? Well, you calculate the volume, right? The radius of the internal bit of the stick is 1.5 centimeters. Yes, I measured the stick. So 1.5 centimeters wide by 50 centimeters width. That's about a third, or slightly more than a third the length of Mavis's stick, right? So we want, possibly this stick could be telescopic, so we don't want to take up the whole stick just to contain tea. We want 1.5 centimeters by 50 centimeters, which comes in slightly more than a can of Coke, for example, or a cup and a half of tea. Okay, so this stick could contain a cup and a half of tea.